Hello, this is Mrs. Robertson, and today we're going to go over our Bellwork. And the Bellwork is for this week's one sheet of paper. On this side, the 4th and 5th. On the 4th, which is today, you're going to do the evens. And then tomorrow, which is the 5th, you're going to do the odds. Then on the back side, the 6th, you're going to do the evens. And on the 7th, you'll do the odds on this. Any questions? Now, since if you're in a Math 7 class, you will be expected to do the ones that say 7th grade standards. 18 and 20 both deal with circles. And if you're in my 6th grade class, if we have time, we'll talk about circles, so you'll have an idea of how to do them for next year. But in the math book where I taught, used to use these years and years ago, these were all 6th grade standards, not just 6th and 7th. All right, so we're going to start with number 2. Write 8/10 as a percent. Well, 8/10 as a fraction looks like that, but we want a percent. And remember, percent means per 100. So you just move it 2 places to the right. 1, 2, and the answer is going to be 80%. So 1, it's behind the 8, 2, and you add a 0, so it'll be an 80%. Another way is to get it over a 100. It's like 8%. Percent means per 100. Well, how does a 10 turn into a 100? You can multiply it by 10, and 8 times 10 is 80. And 80 over 100 is 80%. So, for that moment when you can't remember, how many places do I move it in which direction? You can always remember, oh, it's got to be over a 100. So that's just another technique to help you to remember which way do I go. In number 4, who would like to give me the answer for that problem? Yes.
-2 on 0, then 0.2.
Right. So just be careful with your negatives and your decimals. And remember, 0 is still less than 0 and 2/10. Okay, number 6. Find the area of the triangle. The formula for the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Or the other formula, which will still give you the same answer, 1/2 base times height. You might see it written this way or that way. So our base and our height are the 2 sides that form the right angle. That is the base, and this is the height. So I'm going to use this formula. 12 times 5 is 60 divided by 2. The answer is 30 centimeters squared. Are there any questions on that? Okay, let's go to the next problem, and it's number 8. In problem number 8, equivalent fractions. Can an 8 turn into a 48? Yes. 8 times what's 48, class? 8 times 6. So then you take 2 times 6, and that gives you 12. So the answer is 12 for that problem. In number 10, what is 6 to the 2nd power? 36 minus, what's the square root of 36?
6.
So 36 minus 6 gives you the answer of 30. Any questions on that? Everyone good on these? Good. What number is 4/7 of 56? Well, you can just multiply on that one, or you divide 56 by 7. That tells you how much 1/7 is, and take it times 4. It's the same thing as multiplying your fraction, though. So here we go. 4/7 times 56, and you have to put it over a 1. And the ink is running out of that pen. 56 over 1. That one is not much better. So I'm going to simplify before I multiply. Will 7 divide a 56? Yes, it will. 7 times 8 is 56. You can always look at the chart up there in the room. 7 divides 7 once, and 7 divides 56 8 times. Now you just multiply straight across. 4 times 8 is 32. 1 times 1 is 1. So 4/7 of 56 is 32. The answer, 32. Any questions on how to do that? In number 14, it's a division problem. I'm just going to do it over here to the side. The first number goes in the box. The second number is the divisor. It goes outside. Now, you have to move your decimal point to get it out of the divisor. Here you have to move it one place. So you make this one appear and move it one place. So now you have 60 divided by 5. 5 goes into 6 once. Subtract, bring down. 5 goes into 10 twice. And the answer is 12. So 6 divided by 0.5 is 12. Or 6 divided by a half. How many halves are in a 6? There are 12 halves in a 6. That's another way to think of that. In number 16, we have to subtract. And when you subtract fractions, you have to find a common denominator. I'm going to rewrite it vertically, which I've done there. What's my common denominator between an 8 and a 2? Yes, it's going to be an 8. Well, that's good. It stays the same. 1/2 is the same thing as 4/8. Oh no, 1/8 cannot subtract the 4/8, can it, kids? It needs help. And 2 says, I will help you. I will change into dun, 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 1 and 8/8. Now, you are smart kids. You know 1 and 8/8 is still a 2, right? But now 8/8 can combine forces with 1/8, making it the mighty 9/8. Now, what's 9/8 minus 4/8 going to be? 5/8. And 1 minus 1 is nothing, right? So the answer to number 16 is 5/8. Any questions? Okay, in number 18, we have to change them to improper fractions. When you multiply and divide fractions, you have to turn them into improper fractions. You multiply, add, and put it on top. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we have 8/5 divided by 4/1. Now, when you divide fractions, the first fraction stays the same. Change it to a multiplication, and you take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which means you're flipping it. Any questions on what I just did? You all know how to do that. Then you simplify. 4 divides 4 once, and how many 4s will go into an 8? 2. Now you can multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2, and 5 times 1 is 5. So the answer is 2/5. Any questions? Now, on the next problem, you can do this without drawing a grid or with a grid, okay? Now, in this problem, you find the ones that have the same x, okay? So notice how our x is the same, -3 and -3. So how far is it from a 3 to a -2, kids? From 3 to a -2 is 5. It's a -2. How far is it from a 3 to a -2? It's a 5. Then you find the ones with the same y coordinate. So y's, this is a 3, and that's a 3. How far is it from a -3? Now we look at the x's. How far is it from a -3 to a 3? 6. So those are the dimensions of the rectangle. Find the perimeters of a rectangle. So it's going to be 5 by 6. 5, 5, 6, 6. So when you're finding the perimeter, it's going to be 6 plus 6 is 12. 5 plus 5 is 10. 12 plus 5 is going to give you the answer 22 units. Okay? That's how you can do it without a grid. Now, on iLearn or any other test that you might take, you can draw a grid. And I would recommend you kids drawing a grid just to give you confidence on this. And you have to go up to a 3 and a negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. And we same thing, 3 to a negative 3. 1, 2, 3, and negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Now you can graph it here. Negative 3, 3. So this is so it shows up a little better. I'm going to just highlight it. That's your X. And the vertical one is your Y. Okay? So negative 3, 1, 2, 3, up 3 is there. That's this point. Negative 3, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2 is right there. 3, 3, and 3, negative 2 is there. Now I've got a rectangle. I think I'll make it a little darker so you can see. Here's the rectangle. So you just find the dimensions this way. Again, if you're dealing with the perimeter, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6 and that is 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5. So see how you can do it either way, and you're still going to get the same answer of 22 units. Any questions on our Bellwork today? All right, nice job. Now we're going to go into our lesson.